Have you ever wondered why Musa alayhi salam was so eager to meet Khidr to the extent that he told his servant, لا أبرح حتى أبلغ مجمع البحرين أو أمضي حقبة. I'm not going to stop until I reach the point at which the two rivers meet, or I spend a great deal of time doing this. Meaning I will not stop until I go to the point where Allah promised I'm going to meet Khidr, or I'm going to spend a lot of time until I achieve that goal. Musa alayhi salam, who was a messenger of Allah, receiving revelations directly from Allah, was so eager to meet Khidr, another servant of Allah that is not even a messenger of God, simply because there was something that he had of knowledge which was not given to Musa. What is this knowledge that Allah gave to Khidr that Musa had no knowledge of? It is the knowledge of Qadr of Allah. It is the knowledge of the secret behind the decrees of Allah Ta'ala. Let us just briefly go through the story. As we all know, when he met Khidr, Khidr told him right from the get-go, إِنَّكَ لَن تَسْتَطِيَ مَعِيَ صَبْرًا. You are not going to be able to be patient. You won't be able to bear the things that you're going to see. You're going to complain, which is what we humans, all of us, we see in our daily lives. We are not usually patient. We are not able to bear the decree of Allah in our lives. Something happens to you, you cannot understand why Allah will make you barren and will make you not be able to have children. You cannot understand why Allah will take your only child, for example. So we cannot be patient in these situations. We cannot, our natural dispositions as human beings makes it impossible for us to be patient while these things are going on when we don't understand why they are happening. Khidr told Musa that you will not be able to be patient because you don't know why those things that you are going to see, you don't know why they are going to happen, so you will not be able to be patient. And Musa alayhi salam, being a messenger of Allah, he said, I'm going to find that I will try my best to be patient. I will do my best to be patient. Now, the first thing that happened was that they boarded the ship. So when they were in the ship, Khidr made a hole on the boat, like he made a hole on the ship and made it such a way that water was coming into the ship. When Musa alayhi salam saw this, he was like, why would you do such a thing? These people were so nice to us. They hosted us. They carried us to cross the sea, and they didn't even charge us anything, and then you are going to do this to them? This is how you repay their good deed, by destroying their boat and making it sink gradually. And what did Khidr said? He said, Alam aqul laka innaka lan tastati'a ma'iya sabra. Did I not tell you that you are not going to be able to be patient? Did I not tell you that your natural disposition as a human being, when the decree of Allah comes, is for you to start complaining? So didn't I tell you this? And then Musa alayhi salam, he said, just forgive me this time. I promise next time I would do better. I would be patient. What happened? The next thing that happened was even worse. Khidr saw a young boy that was the only child of very elderly parents. And then what did Khidr do? فَقَتَلَهُ. He killed the boy. And remember that Khidr, Allah Ta'ala described him as what? عَبْدًا مِنْ عِبَادِنَا آتَيْنَاهُ رَحْمَةً مِنَّا وَعَلَمْنَاهُ مِنْ. Described Khidr as somebody who is a very merciful servant and who is somebody that Allah has granted knowledge. Allah described Khidr with mercy, that he's a merciful person. But yet we see what he did here. He killed an innocent boy. At this point, Musa alayhi salam couldn't hold it. He was boiling. He was so angry. أَقَتَلْتَ نَفْسًا زَكِيَّةً بِغَيْرِ نَفْسٍ لَقَدْ جِئْتَ شَيْئًا نُكْرًا. Are you going to kill an innocent soul who has not committed any evil? This is the first one was, oh, this is definitely evil. There is no excuse for this. Remember, as human beings, I said before, when you do not know the reasons behind the decree of Allah in your life, this is our natural reaction. This is a messenger of God. Don't forget, Musa is one of the greatest messengers. But look at how he reacts when it comes to the decrees of Allah. This is how we are as human beings. I reminded him that, remember I told you, you will not be able to be patient. And this time around, Musa said, oh, verily you have an excuse for me. I promise I'm not going to do it again. If I do it again, then and you are free to chase me away, or not, fala to sahibni, don't be my companion again. Then the third thing happened. They went to a city, but nobody wanted to host them. In that time, when you go to a land or you travel far away, there were no hotels. So the best thing you can hope for is to look for somebody in that society that will be willing to host you for the time you are there. Nobody, everybody in the society was shutting the door on their faces. And they were hungry, they needed a place to stay and all that. So they decided to leave. As they were leaving the city, they saw a wall that was about to fall down. And Khidr started building, he rebuilt the wall to make it more firm, right? And Musa was so surprised. Like, if you had wanted, you could have built this wall and then charged a wage. These people are so heartless, they were so cruel towards us. You could have charged them for this free work that you are doing. And then Khidr finally said, "Haza firaqu bayni wa baynik." This is the final point. Remember, you promised that if you do it again, that's the end. And Khidr said, "This is the final. You still cannot be patient. After all this time, you still have not learned that you should be patient when it comes to the decree of Allah." And then he now said, "Sa'unabbi'lam tastati' alayhi sabra." And now I'm going to explain to you the reasons behind all those things that you couldn't be patient about. The first thing he said, as for the ship where they were going to, there was a king there who was seizing every ship that come, he will seize it and then add it to his fleet. And aibaha, so I wanted to put a flaw in the ship, so that when he comes to take the ship, he will see that the ship has already been damaged, and then he will just say, "I don't want it again." That was why he did it. The second scenario was in the qadr of the boy was that he was going to be a very transgressive person, he was going to be very oppressive, and he was going to greatly harm the parents. He's going to be a very, very dangerous child. That child was going to be that kind of child that was going to be such a menace to society. Allah wanted to take that child away, reward them for their patience, and at the same time replace it for them. Remember, the Messenger of Allah said, if Allah afflicts you, takes something from you, and then you are patient, He will definitely replace it with something better. It was a blessing for them, but they did not realize, for the mother of the child. Now, this is a question I want to ask you. What do you think the mother of this child that was killed unjustly, what do you think she was feeling at that time? She probably will have been feeling like, "Oh my God, why did you forsake me? Why did you let my child be killed so unjustly? Why? And I bet you she never knew why, and she will not know why until the day of judgment, right? But Khidr was the one explaining to us what happened. But in that particular story, that woman never really knew why her son was taken from her innocently. This is just to tell us that as human beings, we are not able to be patient when it comes to the decree of Allah. And then the final scenario where Khidr was building a wall that was about to fall. And he said the wall belonged to two orphans. Their father was a pious slave of Allah. And if the wall were to fall, there were treasures under that wall that Allah wanted the children to grow up and inherit. So, but if the wall fell at that time, the treasure will become visible and people will come and take it. Allah didn't want that to happen. Allah wanted them to be of age first before the wall will fall, and then the children will discover it themselves. The point I'm getting at with all of this is that Musa alayhi salam was taken on this journey to learn a very important lesson. And that lesson is that as human beings, we do not know the reasons behind the decrees of Allah. We do not know the wisdom behind the things that happens to us. No matter how evil something might seem, our natural disposition as human beings is to begin to think that Allah is just punishing us or He's cruel. No, it's not like that. Everything that Allah does, He does it for a reason. Everything that happens, there is a wisdom behind it, even though we might not know. The great takeaway from this story is that whatever is going on in your life right now, however bleak the situation might seem, however bad everything might seem happening around you right now, always remember that Allah has a plan, and always trust on Him and rely on Him and believe that there is a reason why that is happening.